Hey, guys. It's Connor here, and I gotta tell you about this messed up experience I had while delivering pizzas for Papa John's. It was just another ordinary night, or so I thought. I was cruising through the rain-soaked streets, raindrops pounding against my windshield like a creepy horror movie soundtrack. The address on the order took me to this sketchy part of town, where the houses seemed to get more dilapidated the farther I went. But hey, I had a job to do, so I pressed on. When I finally found the house, I instantly felt this weird vibe. It was like something was off about the place, neglected and forgotten, as if time had taken its toll. I didn't sign up for this creepy adventure, but duty called, you know? So, I mustered up some courage and knocked on the front door, trying to ignore the unease creeping up on me. No response. It was dead silent, and the only thing I could hear was the rain pouring down. I called out, "Hey, it's Papa John's. I have your pizzas." Still nothing. I gotta admit, guys, I was getting a bit freaked out. But I couldn't just leave the pizza on the porch, right? So, I cautiously pushed the door open, expecting to find someone waiting on the other side. But what I saw sent shivers down my spine. The house was eerily quiet, like a forgotten tomb. The air felt stale, as if no one had set foot in there for ages. It had that old house smell, you know, a mix of mustiness and decay. It wasn't exactly inviting, but I had to do my job. I yelled into the open doorway, still nothing, but there was a light coming from around the corner, so I did what every idiot in a horror movie trying to die would do. I made my way inside. As I made my way further into the house, my footsteps seemed to echo through the empty rooms. The floorboards creaked beneath me, like the house was groaning in protest against my presence. Every little noise amplified, making me jump at my own shadow. As I made my way towards the light, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of movement. My heart skipped a beat as I turned towards the source. But there was nothing. Just an empty hallway, dimly lit by a flickering bulb. My nerves were on edge, and the silence felt suffocating. Until all of a sudden it sounded like somebody started whispering. It was quickly put to rest by a quiet "shut up." At that point, my instinct screamed at me to get out of there, and I listened. I hurriedly made my way out of the house, the rain washing away the sense of unease that had settled over me. I didn't look back, but the lingering feeling of dread stayed with me long after I drove away. To this day, I still don't know what was going on in that house. Maybe it was just an abandoned place, forgotten by time and its occupants. Or maybe there was something more sinister lurking in the shadows. I guess I'll never find out. But here's the thing, guys. That experience taught me to trust my instincts, to listen to that little voice in the back of my mind. Sometimes, the scariest things happen in the most ordinary of places. It's a reminder that there's more to this world than meets the eye. So, the next time you order pizza and a delivery guy shows up, spare a thought for the unknown stories they might carry with them. Sometimes, the real horror lies in the everyday. So, picture this, it was a chilly evening, and I was cruising through the dimly lit streets, on the hunt for the address on my DoorDash order. The neighborhood had this eerie vibe, you know, the kind that makes your hair stand on end. But I shook off the unease and told myself it was all in my head. Finally, I pulled up to the customer's spot, a rundown apartment complex nestled in a forgotten corner of the city. The place had seen better days, with peeling paint and a general air of neglect. Something about it sent a shiver down my spine, but hey, a delivery is a delivery, right? I climbed the worn-out staircase, each step creaking beneath my feet. The flickering hallway lights did little to alleviate the gloom. As I made my way to the designated unit, a sense of anticipation mixed with a dash of trepidation washed over me. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something felt off. With a deep breath, I knocked on the door, hoping to get this delivery over with. The seconds ticked by, and there was no answer. I tried again, a bit louder this time, but still, silence greeted me. The stillness of the hallway seemed to close in around me, making the hair on the back of my neck prickle. Now, I'm not one to jump to conclusions, but a sense of unease settled in. I hesitated for a moment, debating whether to leave the food outside and call it a day. But a nagging curiosity pushed me to push the door open, just a crack, to see if anyone was home. What I saw inside froze me in my tracks. The apartment was in complete disarray, furniture overturned, shattered glass scattered across the floor, and a lingering scent of something burnt. Panic surged through my veins as I called out, "Hello? DoorDash delivery." No response. My heart raced as I cautiously stepped inside, the floorboards creaking beneath my weight. A knot formed in my stomach, and every nerve screamed at me to leave. But I couldn't abandon the customer without at least confirming they were okay. Room by room, I searched, my footsteps echoing in the silent apartment. It was as if time stood still, and the only sound was the pounding of my heart. But there was no sign of anyone, no trace of the person who had placed the order. It was like they had vanished into thin air. A chill ran down my spine, and a wave of unease washed over me. I hurriedly retreated from the apartment, leaving the food untouched, and made my way back to my car. The eerie atmosphere of that place stuck with me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I had stumbled upon something far more sinister than a simple undelivered order. As I sat in my car, my mind raced with possibilities. What could have happened in that apartment? Was it a crime scene? Or had something supernatural occurred? The questions gnawed at me, refusing to be ignored. Unable to shake off the eerie encounter, I decided to dig a little deeper. I scoured the local news, searching for any clues that might shed light on what I had witnessed. And that's when I stumbled upon an article. It turns out, the apartment complex had a dark history. Years ago, there had been a fire that claimed the lives of several residents. The cause was never determined, and the building was left abandoned, haunted by the memories of the tragedy. The more I read, the more the pieces started to fit together. The burnt smell, the overturned furniture, it all pointed to the remnants of that fateful event. But what puzzled me was the undelivered order. Who had placed it? And where were they? Intrigued, I reached out to the authorities, sharing my experience and the details I had uncovered. They promised to investigate, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was getting tangled in something much bigger than I had bargained for. Days turned into weeks, and the incident slowly faded from the public's memory. But not mine. The unanswered questions continued to haunt me, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our seemingly ordinary lives. To this day, the mystery remains unsolved. The fate of the person who placed that DoorDash order remains unknown, their disappearance shrouded in the secrets of that haunted apartment complex. This is a bit of a lengthy story, so sit back and enjoy. My name is Braden, I used to work at Pizza Hut, and this is the story of every delivery driver's worst fear. My heart pounded in my chest as I approached the address on my delivery slip. It was a quiet suburban neighborhood, but something about this particular house gave me an uneasy feeling. The porch light flickered ominously, casting long shadows on the worn-out steps. Taking a deep breath, I grabbed the pizza box and made my way to the front door. As I rang the doorbell, a chill ran down my spine. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a middle-aged man with a sly grin on his face. His eyes seemed to pierce through me, sending shivers down my spine. "You must be the Pizza Hut guy," he said in a low, gravelly voice. "Yeah, that's me," I replied, my voice trembling slightly. I tried to maintain my composure, reminding myself that this was just another delivery. But something about this man set off alarm bells in my head. He handed me the cash for the order, but as I reached out to take it, he grabbed my wrist with an iron grip. Fear gripped me as I struggled to break free. "You're not going anywhere, kid," he hissed, a twisted grin stretching across his face. Panic surged through my veins as I fought to escape his clutches. But his strength was overpowering, and before I knew it, everything went black. When I regained consciousness, I found myself in a dimly lit basement, bound and gagged. The room smelled musty, with a faint odor of decay lingering in the air. Panic flooded my senses as I realized the severity of the situation. I was trapped. Time seemed to stretch on endlessly as I sat there, my mind racing with fear and uncertainty. Images of my family, my friends, and my future flashed before my eyes. Would I ever see them again? The thought of never escaping this nightmare terrified me to my core. Hours passed, and I remained trapped in the basement, my heart pounding with fear and confusion. The man had returned, bringing a tray of warm water and some old dried food. He smirked as he set it down, his eyes filled with a sinister gleam. It was clear he had no intention of letting me go anytime soon. He began to pace back and forth, muttering to himself about his twisted plans. My mind raced, searching for any way to escape this nightmare. But in the darkness of that basement, hope seemed distant and unattainable. Suddenly, I heard a knock above me. My heart skipped a beat. Was it Christian? Had he finally realized something was wrong and come looking for me? The sound grew louder, closer, and I held my breath, praying that help was on its way. The man went to check, and Christian's voice echoed through the room. "Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for Braden, the pizza delivery driver. Have you seen him?" I tried to scream, but I was gagged and could barely make a noise. There's no way he could hear me all the way down here. The man's response was cold and calculated, his voice dripping with deceit. "No, I haven't seen him. Must have gotten lost or something. Sorry I can't be of more help. But Christian wasn't convinced. Something in the man's demeanor set off alarm bells in his mind. He stepped closer, his voice filled with suspicion. Are you sure? He's been missing for hours, and this was the last delivery address on his route. Mind if I take a look around? The man's eyes narrowed, and I could sense his unease. I already told you, he's not here. Now, if you don't mind, I have things to do. You should leave. Christian hesitated for a moment, realizing that something was seriously wrong. He left and quickly dialed 911, explaining the situation to the dispatcher. Within minutes, the police were on their way, ready to investigate further. Meanwhile, in the dark confines of the basement, I remained oblivious to the unfolding events. The man grew more agitated, knowing that his time was running out. He approached me with a chilling grin, describing the horrifying plans he had in store for me. The details were too disturbing to recount, but I knew that escape was my only option. Back upstairs, the police arrived, led by Christian, who had managed to convince them of the urgency of the situation. They questioned the man, but he remained defiant, denying any knowledge of my whereabouts. It seemed like a dead end, but the officers were determined to find the truth. Using their experience and intuition, Officer Aiden had devised a plan. They pretended to conclude their investigation, assuring the man that they were leaving. But they had already applied for their search warrant and would come back soon with backup. As the man watched the officers exit, a sense of relief washed over him. Little did he know that the tables were about to turn. With their warrant in hand, the police returned, this time with a team of officers ready to apprehend him. I heard the door burst open, and chaos ensued. The man fought back, desperate to escape the consequences of his heinous actions. But he was outnumbered and outmatched. The police quickly overpowered him, securing his arrest. As the handcuffs were placed on the man's wrists, other officers frantically searched the house for me before eventually finding me in the basement. I was finally free, rescued from the clutches of a deranged captor. Christian rushed to my side, his face filled with relief and concern. The police provided medical attention, ensuring that I was physically okay. But the emotional scars would take time to heal. The nightmare I had endured was something I would never forget, a reminder of the darkness that could lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary encounters. In the aftermath, the police pieced together the full extent of the man's crimes, discovering evidence of his previous victims. It was a chilling realization that I had narrowly escaped becoming another tragic chapter in his twisted story. As time passed, I began to rebuild my life, grateful for each new day and the opportunity to move forward. The support from family, friends, and the local community helped me regain a sense of security and normalcy. The incident left a lasting impact on me, reminding me of the importance of vigilance and trusting my instincts. It also reinforced my admiration for the courageous individuals, like Christian and the police officers, who stepped up to protect others, even in the face of danger. While the scars of that traumatic experience will always be a part of me, I refuse to let it define me. I am a survivor, and I will use my voice to raise awareness about the dangers that can lurk in unexpected places. And as for the man who held me captive, he will face justice for his crimes, locked away behind bars, ensuring that he can never harm another innocent soul. Thanks for watching. If you would, comment and tell me what video I should do next. If you're interested in providing your own stories, let me know in the comments and I'll let you know how you can. Thanks again, until next time.